JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 31st of May 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's afternoon session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, just to see how everything's getting along basically. Yep, but before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So you feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top, guys. So now then, jumping into the charts, the first one I want to pick up here is the German index, DAX, and well, to be honest, in terms of indices, there's not going to be much that I'm going to be talking about here because today it's a holiday in the United States and also the UK, so it's a relatively quiet day today. So yeah, guys, the moment, I mean, that's the kind of the main, these are the main ones that I'm going to be looking at today. So yep, the German DAX is slightly in the red, however it still remains above the 21-day EMA, and yep, there is still a good chance this could push higher. However, not maybe today. Today's trading is most likely is going to end somewhere around here as well. But tomorrow, going into tomorrow, it will be interesting to see if we can get DAX kind of pushing higher here and overcoming the current all-time high, which is around the 15,569 territory. If we clear that, then yes, higher levels could be met. But if not, well, I mean, of course, we'll still remain somewhat positive. But if the index starts dropping somewhere below this little territory right here, the 15,215, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for more sellers, and more of them could join in, because at the same time, we could see maybe a break of this upside support line here, although tentative, but nevertheless an upside support line taken from the low the 13th of May. So keep that in mind. Again, even if it breaks this upside line, still this whole move lower could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying, because overall we're also still trading above this upside support line taken from the low of the 19th of March of 2020. So yeah, guys, for now, long story short, basically there is still a good chance for this index to move higher. However, just to be a little bit more on the safe side, yes, a push above the current all-time high would be needed. Now, Ibex 35, the Spanish index, and I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, to be honest, but as you can see by the lines here, this is when I last time picked up on this one, and since then kind of we did move nicely here to the upside. So we are trading above some of these upside lines now, although tentative, but still upside lines. So I'm gonna just quickly put them on the chart right here. So these are the ones that I'm talking about. So one is taken from the low the 29th of October of last year, and the other one is a slightly flatter one, is taken from the low the 28th of January of this year. You can see that after finding good resistance around here last week near the 9,254.55 territory, approximately around here, the index kind of stalled a little bit, and it's not really moving much. So it's still above the 21-day EMA, which is a good sign. However, in order to go for some higher levels, well, I would actually prefer to wait for a push above this 9,255 territory. If we do get that, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yes, higher levels could be met, because unlike the German index, the Ibex 35 still has plenty of room here, because we're not really even near the all-time high. So again, there's still, like I said, plenty of room here to go higher, but certain confirmation breaks are needed, and one of which is this one, a push above the 9,255 level. Jumping into US oil, WTI oil. So this morning I talked about the Brent oil. Now here we have WTI oil, and last week, if you can see here, we managed to remain above that 66.40 zone, the one that I kept talking about throughout this, well, throughout a few weeks now. I mean, actually throughout the whole of May. And what I was saying, that in order to go for some higher levels, we needed to see that daily candle to stay above the 66.40 territory. And as you can see, this is exactly why. So yes, we on the 27th of May we did have that move. We stayed above above this barrier, and yep, although on the 28th we did kind of correct a little bit lower. However, as you can see, this little drop back below this this area, below this level, was a temporary kind of false breakout, and yep, today we're seeing kind of a continuation move higher. So let's see if we can actually squeeze a move towards the 67 this 67.94 territory, which is the current highest point of this year, because that's going to be my next target. And if that of course gets cleared, then yes, we could go further north, aiming for some of these levels that we saw in the beginning of the first half of October of 2018. So let's see how this is going to play out. But for now, guys, we are leaning a little bit more towards the upside. But again, I'll be very careful near this barrier here, this 67.94 zone, and then we'll take it from there. For the downside, what I need to see here is a drop back below the 66.40 territory. If we stay below that area, then yes, there is a chance for a bit of a move lower here, guys, so keep that in mind. Silver is stuck, I would say. I mean, yes, it's still kind of trading above this upside line, but to be honest, in order to go for the upside right now, I would actually like to see a push above the 28.24 zone, or 23 zone, approximately around here. That's the high of last week, and if we do clear that, then yes, higher levels could be met. Our next target could be that highest point of May near the 28.75 territory, or the high of the 2nd of February of this year, of course, near the 29.03 zone, and then we'll of course take it from there. But at the moment, if you want to go for the upside, just probably take a bit of a careful approach here and wait for a push above the 28.23 zone right here. On the downside, we need to see a break of this upside line and a drop below the 27.20 territory right here in order to, yep, like I said, aim for the downside. Ripple. So Ripple is trying to climb higher, trying to move back up here. Previously, I talked about this crypto and not yesterday, on last week. And basically what I said here, that in order to go for the downside, we need to see a nice good drop below the 0.7910 zone. But as you can see, around here, I mean, the hold up occurred because we do have the 200-day EMA here as well, which also did provide good support. And now we're seeing this nice rebound. But to be honest, I mean, if you want to aim for slightly higher levels, probably wait for at least a nice good push above this 1.0606 territory. I spoke about this level previously, if you remember, and if we clear that one, and if we climb above it, then yes, we could go for some higher levels, and then we'll take it from there, guys. At the moment, we are kind of balancing around that psychological 1 level, and we can see that the crypto is getting a hold up near this 100-day EMA, shown as the green line. So let's see if that line continues to somehow provide resistance or not. So it will be an interesting one, and that's the reason why I have this 1.0606 level as a preferred area for further upside. Now jumping into NZDUSD, and yeah, here it's a bit of an interesting one here as well. I mean, although on one hand everything looks still positive because we're trading still above this upside line, taken from the low the 1st of April. On the other hand, we do have a barrier which is slightly in our way, and that's the 0.7305, approximately around there. That's the high of the 10th of May here, and a few times last week we saw an overshoot here, but yep, the daily candle failed to remain above that hurdle. So in order to go for the upside, wait for that daily candle to stay above it. If we get that, then yes, higher levels could be met here, guys. USDJPY, also an interesting one. So after we've climbed above this 109.70 zone, we pushed a little bit higher, but then you can see that on Friday we formed a bit of a shooting star here, and a bit of a doji, sorry, not a doji, but more of a shooting star pattern here. It seems like it could be seen as a reversal. However, we're still hanging near this 109.70 territory, so I'll keep that in mind for now, because if the daily candle today stays above this area, above this hurdle, then, well, we could still continue aiming higher. Our next target could be this 110.75 territory, or even a little slightly above that. But again, at the moment, even if it drops below this hurdle, below this 109.70, then don't get me wrong, we could see a bit of a maybe decline. However, this decline could be classed as a temporary correction. Because we're still trading above this upside support line taken from the low of the 6th of January. So that's why, for example, my downside scenario is only from somewhere around here near the 108.57. If we break the upside line and drop below the 108.57, then yes, this could open the door towards lower areas here, and then of course we'll take it from there. GBPCHF, so this one is an interesting one, and if you remember previously when I talked about GBPCHF, I spoke about this level, the 1.2790 zone, which is still kind of doing its job and acting as a fantastic area of resistance. If that gets cleared and we break this barrier again, and the most importantly, if we stay above that barrier, now this is where it could become interesting and more buyers could join in, and yep, higher levels could be met. So for now, long story short, we are very close to that barrier. We're back above the 21-day EMA. You can see that today the 21-day EMA acted as a fantastic area of support. So let's see if we can now push above this 1.2790 zone. If we can, then yes, higher levels could be met. EURUSD, so still trading above this upside line, so everything's looking quite okay here for the bulls, I would say, but still, as I said before, when I was covering EURUSD, I need that move back above the 1.2243 zone in order to aim for some higher levels. Yes, on the one hand, it's great that the rate remains above this upside line, but to be a little bit more on the safe side, probably just like I said, wait for that push above the 1.2243 zone in order to aim for higher areas. For the downside, I need to see the daily candle staying below the 1.2161 zone here in order to go for the downside. And then, of course, yeah, we'll take it from there, guys. So that's it for this session, guys. Just to let you know that there won't be any Traders Espresso tomorrow in the morning. There will be a Traders Tea Time time later on during the day, but yeah, unfortunately, due to some issues here, I won't be able to deliver the morning video, but yeah, I hope you'll join me later on tomorrow for my Traders Tea Time at 12:30 GMT. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.